instructions, obey the rules, and let's see good sportsmanship. Shake hands, back to your corners, and come out at the bell. Good luck.
Hamed's first fight since losing his aura of invincibility, well beaten by Mexican great Marco Antonio Barrera. No shame in that. Great fighters like Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard and Joe Louis. They lost too, but they came back to reassert themselves and enter boxing's Hall of Fame. Here's the Prince, Mark II, 13 months on, against Manuel Calvo. Now, what has Calvo got to offer? Well, he's always been plenty durable enough, and he's sparred 200 rounds in preparation for this in a 6-month preparation. Hamed's has lasted 5 months, but he was troubled by a back injury, we were told, about 6 weeks ago, which was why this fight was postponed originally. 28 now, the thriller chiller days behind him, and he's got to be all business now in this second phase of his career. Southpaw jab from Hamed, who's looking to be more accurate, he says, and faster, a bit like he was in his younger days. And maybe he won't load up quite so much. He admitted he made a big mistake just trying to knock out Barrera that night with no plan B. Having said all that, he promises a spectacular end this evening.
That's what he needs. There will be a little bit of nerves, but he's always been a very confident character. But he'll want to do this job in very good style.
Back on the scene of one of his greatest triumphs, the victory over the long-reigning IBF champion Tom Johnson. If he could show that kind of form, it would be good. Bound to be a bit of ring rust, I would think. And he says no nerves, but I think there will be some.
Just having a look at Calvo, seeing what he's got to offer.
Just looking to box behind that southpaw jab. One of his great performances was against Jose Badillo. It's one I always liked, when he used the jab perfectly to pick his man apart, soften him up before finishing the job. Emmanuel Stewart, one of the world's top trainers, has been sacked. It's Oscar Suarez running things in the corner tonight.
Well, Hamed always been very confident and comfortable with Suarez.
Calvo on his bike a bit, trying to stay out of trouble and managing to do that quite successfully so far. Hamed boxing conservatively, feeling his way back into it all. Must almost seem like he's starting out all over again. The reality is he's been boxing for 21 years, amateur and pro, since he was a little boy of 7.
For so many years, the right at the top level.
Quiet opening round, and Calvo kept himself out of trouble, but Hamed was in 4th gear. Impressions, Glenn?
Well, I think he often does this early on in the fight. Just has a look. They have these little whispers, or a lot of whispers about the second round. He wants to make a performance. He wants to make a statement. So I'd look to him to try and pick it up in this round.
After that jab, I want you sharp with the jab, right? Yeah. Okay, here we go. Here we go. That's beautiful. No rush. We got 12 rounds to play with, all right? We're gonna have some fun tonight, all right? A little sharp. You're gonna do it. Here we go, baby.
Yeah, they get on well, those two. They're on the same wavelength, but they've got to prove that it really does work in the ring, because a lot of Hamed's recent fights, even before he came a cropper, he was starting to look like an accident waiting to happen, wasn't he?
Yeah, little mix in the styles, things, since there's been so many changes. He looked as if he didn't quite know what he was supposed to be doing, the old style or something new.
Well, it did seem, listening to that, as if they'd be in no particular hurry to get the job done tonight. Just cool boxing. But he's out of range with the left hand. Not much accuracy so far from Hamed, but I think at the moment he is just doing the reconnaissance. That's a nice, sharp little right hand from him. Calvo is out of range. Hamed was always particularly good at getting matters over with when his opponents were least expecting it, with some punch from an unorthodox angle, like those corkscrew uppercuts he used to produce. Calvo just feeling the weight of that one and retreating to the ropes.
Yeah, just starting to get closer, Hamed now, starting to make the jab work, and the left hand was a solid one.
So much seems to have happened in this story. Was it really 7 years ago on that rainy night in Cardiff he won the featherweight title? It's a good right hand to the body. This is a featherweight who punches like a middleweight. And maybe he just developed too much faith in the powers. A good left hand there, but Calvo took it well, didn't he?
Yep, he's got a good chin, never been stopped, but he's going to need to have.
Just walked onto a little right. Hamed's just clicking into gear a bit here and starting to find his timing with some quite hurtful looking punches. The left hand, and the hand speed's still there, isn't it? Blink and you miss it.
Yeah, looks fast now. He's starting to look for the different shots.
He used to love the second round, one of his favourites to get fights over with. But he'll do well to stop this fellow inside too. But he's just starting to let them go a bit now. These left crosses and corkscrew kind of shots. One of the problems he developed, I think, is that he became a bit easier to hit as he slowed down, and they tried to make modifications to his style. He just lost some of that jack-in-the-box unpredictability he used to have. Very well picked, the jab. Yes, very good too. And a right hand catching Calvo off balance, and a cracking left too. Now, this is really it from Hamed in the second round. He's turning on the style now, Glenn. That's another big shot.
Looking very sharp indeed, picking these single punches so well.
Calvo's got damage underneath the left eye, but not a cut. And I tell you what, he's shown some resilience, because there were some jolting blows that thudded home there. The Spaniard stayed on his feet. But he looked good then. He looked good.
He looked really good. The jab was working so well, and the other punches, picking the ones up through the middle. And he looked very, very sharp indeed.
That jab, keep taking.
He turned down the chance of an immediate rematch with Marco Antonio Barrera. There were all kinds of reasons, I think, for that. I think he needed a lot of time to come to terms with it all psychologically.
Well, there was the good right jab, and then the right hook off the jab that held Calvo in a little bit of trouble. But it was all Nas picking the shots so well, looking strong in that round.
He says, I may be a beaten fighter, but I'm not a beaten man.
Round 3.
Third round. Hamed, the slightly subdued entrance tonight. No somersault. Just as if he wants to get back in the ring and get on with the business of rebuilding his career, and that's exactly what he's doing here. Calvo looking to get a bit braver and busier. Calvo, who lost and won in close fights with Steve Robinson, the man from whom Hamed took the WBO featherweight title all those years ago, in '95. Calvo also came here and got outboxed by former British champion John Joe Irwin. He's only lost 4, though, 33 wins on his record. Hamed's talking to him in there. This is the old sassy Hamed beginning to resurface a bit, as Calvo does get there with a jab.
Well, he's got his hands down by his side, really play-acting a bit, looking to load up.
Switch hitting and a venomous-looking left hand, which Calvo again absorbed. It is such an unconventional style for opponents to deal with, no matter how many times Calvo's watched videos of it.
Yeah, the reflexes are so good, the power